This is the Chapter 3 chapter review. We're going to do practice questions that will look just like questions on the test. This chapter included one-step equations, two-step equations, taking words and making them into either expressions or equations. The only difference between an expression and an equation is equations had equal signs. The next section, we learned how to write inequalities. Inequalities have less than or greater than signs. We learned how to solve one-step inequalities and graph our answers. Then we did two-step inequalities and graphed our answers. And our last lesson dealt with compound inequalities, or and questions. I'm now going to give you practice questions, and the video will stop and allow you to type in your answers. You need to work everything out on a piece of notebook paper that you will then give to me when you're finished, and I will enter that as like a quiz grade in the grade book. It's not for correctness, it's for completion. If you are neat, organized, and I can see that you tried every question, then you get 100%. Question 1 is, what song would you sing to solve this question? Would you add, subtract, multiply, or divide? If you said add, you are correct. We're going to add 6 to both sides. Now work out your, do all the work on your paper and type in your answer. You should have typed in x equals -3. Remember, we don't want to just type in -3. It needs to be the full complete answer, the variable, the equal sign, because sometimes this is an alligator mouth, and the number. Here's question 2. What song will you sing to solve this question? Will you add, subtract, multiply, or divide? If you said multiply by 3, you are correct. Work this question out, type in your answer. You should have typed in x equals -72. Times by 3, times by 3, cross out what's my answer. I did the scratch work over here. One negative is negative, so it's a -72. Question 3, what song will you sing? Will you add, subtract, multiply, or divide? By what number? You should have said divide by -8. So now work it out and type in your answer. The correct answer is x equals -2.5 or -2.5. Question 4. What is your first song that you're going to sing? Then what is your second song that you're going to sing? Type in both answers into the same box. First song, second song. Your first song is to get rid of this 6. So we're going to subtract 6, come over here and subtract 6. Our second song is to get rid of the 4. Divide by 4, divide by whatever this answer is. Now work it out on paper. Subtract 6, then divide by 4, type in what you get as an answer. The correct answer is x equals 14. So my first song was -6 minus 6. This made 56. I rewrote the question, divide by 4, divide by 4. My scratch work's over here. X equals 14. Question 5, what is the first song followed by the second song? What step are you going to do first? What are you going to do second? The first song you should sing is -9 minus 9. The second song is times by 3, and then you'll multiply by 3 over here. So work that out, doing -9 as your first step. The correct answer is -39. So I did minus 9, 2 negatives means I really add, so I get negative 13. In pink, you can see where I rewrote the question, times by 3, cross out what's my answer. This over here makes negative 39. You always add or subtract before multiplying and dividing. The first song will always be add or subtract something. The second song will be multiply or divide. All right, so I just told you the first song is always add or subtract. The next thing I want you to do is actually just work it out. So the next time the video stops, you're going to type in the question, the final answer. What is the final answer to this? The final answer is positive 3 1/4 or 3.25. My first song was minus 15, minus 15. 2 minus 15 is negative 13. Rewrite the question, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. 2 negatives will make a positive. My scratch works over here. 4 goes into 13 3 times with 1 left over. 3 1/4 or 3.25. What is the final answer to this question? Remember, you're always going to add or subtract first, multiply or divide second. Final answer is 27. X equals 27. All right, let's review taking words and making them into math expressions. Minus and less than are both subtraction. However, in the first example, 4 comes first. 4 minus a number. When it says less than, the first thing is in the back. The second thing is up front. Okay, let me say that again. 4 minus a number is exactly how it sounds. 4 minus a number. 4 less than a number starts back here. 4 less than a number. Plus and more than both mean addition. Plus is exactly how it sounds. 5 plus a number. 5 more than a number is backwards, just like less than. A number times 5 is 5x. We're going to smush them together. We're not going to use a dot or a times sign. You can never have the number in the back. It has to look like this. Times could also be product. Product or times is going to look like this. Quotient is the one that looks like division. The quotient of a number and 5. You read it from top down. A number and 5. Okay, type this one in. 16 less than a number times 5. That's going to look like 16 less than a number times 5. Next question. 4 times a number plus 2. What is that going to look like? 4 times a number plus 2. That's going to look like 4x, 4 times a number, plus 2. Now let's suppose we added the word is. That would add an equal sign. I add the word is, that adds an equal sign. Maybe the question is 16 less than a number times 5 is 9. I write 9 right there. 4 times a number plus 2 is 10. I write the 10 right there. Your next question, 3 less than a number times 2 is 6. This will have an equal sign. Type in what that looks like. Three less than, not 3 minus, 3 less than, a number times 2 is 6. I would also accept the equals and the 6 up front. Now let's talk about inequalities. Less than is the alligator that mouth that looks like this. We talked about it being your left hand. Don't judge my drawing, that's supposed to be a left hand. More than looks like this alligator mouth, it's your right hand. Left hand, less than, points left. More than, points right. If we have an open dot, it's one of those. If we color in and we call that a closed dot, we have the line underneath of it because it could also be equal to. For your next question, type in, will this be an open dot or a closed dot? Will this be going to the left or to the right? The answer is, it's an open dot going to the left. Same question for 12. Open dot or closed dot, left or right? This one is tricky. All right, this one's tricky because we really want the X on the left side. So if I reverse the X in the 3, I also have to reverse the alligator mouth. So the correct answer was closed dot to the left. For the next question, you're going to have to type in your answer. And the keyboard has a less than and a greater than symbol. The keyboard does not have these two. So if your answer requires that, you're going to have to type them separately. Less than or equal, greater than followed by an equal sign. I think it's these two symbols I think are on the bottom row by the period and the comma. So your next question is x plus 6 is less than or equal to negative 12. Solve this inequality and then type in your answer. So when you solve this, it's just like before, minus 6, cross out what's my answer. But I don't say x equals, I say x is less than or equal to negative 18. So when you typed it in, that's what you should have typed in. X is less than or equal to negative 18. That would be a closed dot going to the left on a number line. Your next inequality to solve is this one. This one is a little tricky because I put the X on the wrong side. Type in your answer. All right, so when we solve this one, we're going to do minus 21, cross out what's my answer. 21 minus 15 is 6, but it's negative. So that could be my answer, but the better answer is to reverse it, because then that shows me that it's an open dot. I did close dot, open dot to the right. Either answer that, if you typed either of these in, those are both correct answers. However, this is the one that's going to help us when we have to graph it to know that it's going to the right. All right, let's look at these two questions. We're going to be dividing, and if we ever divide by a negative, then when I write my final answer, I have to reverse from less than to greater than. But that's only if I multiply or divide by a negative. Now, this one's double reverse because I'm dividing by a negative, divide by a negative, but then I don't like X on that side, so I have to reverse it again. All right, type in your answer. Work it out on your paper and then type in your answer. The answer is X is less than negative, not negative 6. I did that wrong, negative 4. Did you remember to reverse the alligator. So he's greater than, now he has to be less than, because we divided, we sang the song with a division by -6. That would then be a closed dot to the left. All right, here is a two-step inequality. Sing two songs. If you remember from the beginning of the video, we're always going to add or subtract first. This is not negative, this 5, so there's not going to be a reason to reverse anything. Type in your final, work it out on paper, and then type in your final answer. All right, so we're going to do -1, cross out what's my answer. Then we're going to rewrite the question. Then we're going to divide by 5, cross out what's my answer. X is greater than 6. On a number line, we would have an open dot at 6, and I would be going to the right. So hopefully you typed in X is greater than 6. Okay, let's review the compound inequalities. Ors go opposite directions, or they both could go the same direction. Ands are in the middle. You might have an open dot, or closed dot, but it's colored in between. All right, here's your next question. The question's in blue. You're going to choose A or B. Which one is the correct picture? If you said A, you were correct. Ors go in opposite directions. You may now turn in the paper to me, and you can start your homework.